I see the shadows on my face. People have told me I don't look the same. Maybe I lost weight. I'm playing hooky with the best of the best. Put my heart on my chest so that you can see it too.
How often do you feel stress, and what age did you start to feel stressed?
Well, I get stressed every day. It just determines what's causing the stress. But people have to learn how to deal with their own stress. As age, growing up to be stressed at a young age, because I'm the youngest of 9, so I learned stress at a very young age, unfortunately.
What causes your stress?
Well, I mean, the most stress out of everybody, which I do believe, which is financial. But everyone has to learn to deal with their stress and go from there. Usually it's family and just see what happens and how do you take it? People have to learn how to deal with their stress. And with me, I learned to deal with it in a laughing manner and don't take everything so seriously. If you do, you're gonna go crazy.
How do you try to solve your stressors?
How do I try to solve it? Whatever's stressing you out, don't keep letting it get to you. Don't think about it. If you're gonna keep thinking about it, you're not gonna go anywhere. The world's gonna keep going and going. You have to learn to do other stuff without stressing about it and thinking about it. If you don't think about it, you're gonna learn probably later on that wasn't a big deal and why was I stressing over that to begin with, you know?
How does your stressors affect your daily life and physical health?
Well, with me, like physical health, I had a lot of stress 2 years ago. Physically health, it did take a toll on me. I lost 90 pounds. 70 pounds. 90. That's still a lot. But I had to learn to deal with it, and that's when I learned that life goes on. Life goes on. You have to do what you got to do. You have to not dwell over things. You have to learn that things go on in life, even though they are the worst at that time and moment. And I've been through it, so I know. But you have to know life still goes on around everybody else. So you have to know that life is going on, and you have to learn, let's move on, and don't have it in your head that much. Otherwise, it's going to be torture.
Is the stress you deal with yours or someone else?
Mine.
Yours?
I've been through a lot of stress within this last 2 years, and I can actually write a book. I mean, people don't even understand how much stress me and my family has been through, and the way that I deal with it with the kids, I'll try to not make it their stress, because it's bad enough we're all going through the stress. But I am the one who they look up to, and I don't want them to grow up in life thinking this is the way you're going to react. You got to be strong, because someday you're going to have your family, and you're going to be strong for them too.
Okay, so how much does your relationship with your family mean to you? So it depends what family we're talking about. If it's my family, yeah, but we don't get along with them. If it's hers, they're like my parents. I love them to death. Let's see. How much time do you spend with your family versus your partner or friends? Again, my family's crap.
I would say like the same amount of time, right?
Yeah, about. Do you have a healthy relationship with your siblings?
With my brothers and not with my sister, because she's going through puberty and it's crazy.
I get along with one sister, and it's because she's like 7, And the other one, yeah, me and her don't get along. I think when our rivalry really started to happen is when after our dad passed. I think we grew farther apart. The next one's you.
Oh, with what?
With Erica.
Oh, rivalry happened when she hit puberty, and she got OCD about where her stuff is, and if my stuff is touching her stuff.
You have more friends now than you did in high school or college. I think everyone has less friends than we did in high school. Talked to like 2 people from there.
Because the friends in high school aren't like real friends, but like the ones in college are real friends, so you have less real friends than fake friends, because you have like more fake friends in high school and more real friends in college, right?
I agree. I agree. So how long have you been in your relationship with your partner, and which form of love do you believe you fall under? Okay, so we've been together almost 5 years. Let's see, liking, infatuation, empty love, romantic love. I think, what's consummate love? What's that again?
Passion, intimacy, and commitment.
Oh, okay. Well, we got that. So consummate love. I mean, that's ongoing on record. Okay. Do you want to get married, and if so, at what age? Definitely want to get married.
Yes.
And I think 22 to like 26 is a good age. Yeah, the healthy
We'll
relationship
say
with
24 because it's like
the middle. Okay, we'll go 24. What is your definition of intimacy, passion, commitment? Intimacy. Okay, I think when there's a good like physical attraction there, I think that's like a must. Passion is like if you can't get enough of that person. I mean, obviously you can. You just need to go with your friends every now and then. But I think if you like constantly just want to be there, and commitment, I think it's always just staying right with your partner through everything. Faithful. There it is. Faithful. Did your relationship grow stronger or stay the same or worsen over the years? I think we've definitely grown stronger over the years. You know, I was going through a lot when I first met her, so was she. So I think that definitely helped us get a lot stronger. Bam.
Hello. So I'm just here to answer a couple questions about gender roles. Personally prefer Hawaiian roles, but you know, whatever. So question 1, what are the expected roles for each gender? Well, I think that's kind of changed over time. Generally speaking, I still think that there is a very large expectation for men to be the breadwinner of their families, and for women to kind of be submissive still. Men are expected to be kind of like the providers, the ones who are really going out and being ambitious. Women are expected to be a little bit more subservient, geared towards raising children. And the difference between sex and gender. Sex refers to, from my understanding, your anatomy. So the body that you're born into. It's, you know, contingent upon your genitalia, basically, from when you're born. If you're born with a penis, you are male in terms of sex, and if you have a vagina, you're female in terms of sex. The difference with that is gender identity. Gender goes beyond just the physical properties of a person's body. It kind of goes with their mentality and their own personal form of expression and identity. For example, if a person feels more in line with the ideology of what it is to be female, despite having a penis, they are considered female by gender. And you know, that can go vice versa. There are also people who don't conform to those gender ideologies, and they can be gender non-conforming, which is kind of when you don't really prioritize one of those two gender roles over the other, or you just feel like you can gravitate between the two of them, or just don't really align with either of them. What factors keep people from fulfilling their gender roles? Well, that's kind of a can of worms question, because I don't think that you should be limited or expected to fulfill any sort of gender roles personally. And I guess that kind of might answer that question, really. I think it might be a person's own personal expectation of what it is that they need to find fulfillment in life that might prevent them from meeting whatever quota is established for them in terms of their gender roles. Like, for example, I'm a guy. I'm male identified. I guess I should, in theory, probably be a lot more masculine, a lot more like, geared towards athletics, geared towards ambition. And meanwhile, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna rock out to Frozen in the shower for a couple hours and just, eat. So, there's that. What influences gender roles? Sexism. I think it's a little bit beyond that. I think it's culture, and people's own personal perceptions of how things should function. I think that gender roles kind of started as a classification thing. I think it was really just to kind of make sense of the world and how people function, and I don't think that at the start they really were meant to cause any harm or restriction. I think it was more for categorizing, but I think that over time it's kind of just gender roles have been influenced by people's desire to kind of limit people and to stop them from deviating from what is considered the cultural norm. I think that the media obviously influences a lot of what gender roles are, since it's kind of become a little bit more of like a talked about issue in the media. With various celebrities coming out as gender nonconforming or fighting for feminism. I think that there's kind of been a little bit more of a shift towards what it means to be either gender, but ultimately I would say culture and people's own personal perceptions of how society should work. Do you think gender roles will be prominent in future societies? Why or why not? I hope not. I think that it's a little bit optimistic to the point of foolishness to say that they're not going to be there entirely. Anybody get that Harry Potter reference? No? Okay. I think that they'll more than likely be around. I think that there are a lot of ideologies that are a little bit detrimental and toxic that realistically probably should be gone, like racism. But guess what? It's 2016 and that's still here, so I imagine the gender roles probably will be as well. And I think that just kind of comes to holding on to how you grew up. I think that it's difficult for some people to let go of these perceptions of gender roles because they were raised in a either family or society or culture that really hones in on the importance of them, and that might be something that they align with because they haven't been exposed to something outside of that, or it's just been so ingrained in them. I don't think they should be around, but hey. How do I feel when I think about changes in gender roles? Excited, discouraged, apprehensive, scared? Excited. I don't see any benefit from gender roles personally, other than, like I mentioned, just kind of a general categorical thing, and even then I don't think that it's appropriate, because I think that condensing people into just this small little subset of expected roles and behaviors is really limiting and infringes upon their abilities to express themselves as an individual. So when I think about gender roles changing, I do get excited because I think that it'll definitely open people up to being more expressive and being more at home with themselves, being able to kind of pursue new practices or interests that they might have otherwise been kind of discouraged from pursuing beforehand. So I definitely think it's going to be something that is, beneficial. Do you believe your gender can cause advancement or problems for your success in the future? Well, I am a cisgendered male, which, if you don't know what that means, it means that I was born male and I identify as male. And I think that that carries a lot of benefits and privileges with it. We are a society that was very much founded on the principles and the, on the ideals of men. And I'm not saying that that's how it should be. I'm just saying that's how it kind of happened. So I think that there's definitely a lot of privilege and advancement based off of my gender identity aligning with my sex alone. I do think that being female is a little bit of an anchor sometimes. I don't think it should be, but I think that there is still very much a glass ceiling for women in this world, and then you get into the gender minority, like transgender individuals, gender nonconforming individuals, gender fluid individuals, and that is an entirely different cross that they have to bear. I think that that is very much a struggle that they're going to deal with. I think that there are so many people in this world who are still prejudiced against the ideas of those gender identities that there is definitely going to be problems, or at least obstacles, standing in the way of their future success. And I hope that over time that'll change as people get more acquainted with the idea of those identities that fall outside of the gender binary. And hopefully that will no longer be something that we see as problematic or, different, or inherently different anyway, in the future. That's it. That's my spiel.
Lace in your dress tangles my